Hi people, it's me, Anja. My pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for a new recent reads video. The first book on this list is called The Half-Life of Love. This story is a YA contemporary science fiction story following two main characters set in a world where everybody knows when they're scheduled to die based on their half-life. So basically, like, if your half-life happens when you're 3 years old, you're gonna die when you're 6. So it follows two main characters, one of which is dying in 41 days, and the other one is a scientist who's investigating, like, if you can prevent it. Because basically, like, normally you can't cheat death. Like, you can't die before your scheduled date, if that makes any sense. But anyway, overall, I rated this book 3 out of 5 stars. I was interested in the world building, but for me, of the two character perspectives, I was more interested in the scientist than in the other main character, if that makes any sense. The plot was intriguing and it was engaging. The romance made sense. Everything about the story, like, made sense. But for me, like, I wasn't as fully invested or as immersed as I could have been. I don't know exactly why. But anyway, overall, like, the concept was really interesting, but the execution wasn't really quite there, if that makes any sense. Actually, it was a little predictable. But anyway, overall, I rated this book 3 out of 5 stars. I do prefer the author's previous book, You and Me at the End of the World, which I read 2 years ago and rated 4 out of 5 stars. So take that as you will. The next book on this list is called Study Break. This story is a YA contemporary anthology of 11 college stories from orientation to graduation, and I really enjoyed it. This is what I wanted my college experience to be like, and as a graduating senior who's graduating in less than 2 months, like, I related to the story so much. Like, it was so good. Each one of the stories could stand on their own, and they felt so authentic and so well done, but also, like, they transitioned so well into each other seamlessly, if that makes any sense. Like, the plots were so intriguing and so engaging. The writing was excellent, so great. The characters were all so well developed and so distinct. All of these authors are so unbelievably talented. I've read books before by at least half of them, you know what I mean? But, like, overall, it felt so awesome and so well done. So anyway, overall, I really enjoyed this awesome anthology. It has inspired me to read more anthologies in the future. I typically don't read them because sometimes I enjoy some of the stories, but not all of them. But this one was literally so stunning and so well done. So anyway, overall, I rated this anthology 4 out of 5 stars. And with that said, I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Missing Clarissa. This story is a YA contemporary murder mystery following a pair of best friends who start a true crime podcast about a girl who went missing 20 years ago, and no one quite knows exactly what happened to her. This story is absolutely so good, and so unexpectedly good as well, because first of all, I don't typically love murder mysteries, and second of all, this book is advertised for fans of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and Sadie, and I'm not in that demographic. So I wasn't really expecting to really enjoy this story. I was literally so captivated by the mystery that the plot was so intriguing and so engaging. The characters were so well developed and so distinct. The sapphic sexuality representation in one of the main characters was so well done and so well incorporated, and her romance was so cute and so awesome. Literally, this book is so well done. I love their friendship so much. This book is so good, and it's so underrated, and it literally deserves so much more hype. So anyway, with all that said, I would highly recommend this book because I rated it 4 out of 5 stars, and I really enjoyed it. The next book on this list is called Immortality. For those who don't know, this book is a YA historical fiction sequel to Anatomy, which I read in January, and I really enjoyed it. And this story is a really solid sequel. I typically have low expectations for sequels because I don't usually expect them to top the first one. But this book, I would say, is just as good as the first one. The world building was so atmospheric and so well done. The romance was so cute and so angsty, and I absolutely loved it. The characters were all so well developed and so distinct as usual. The plot was so intriguing and so engaging. This book is absolutely so good, and I really liked it. Like, it was so well done, and so awesome, and I enjoyed it just as much, if not more, than the first book. This duology is so underrated, and it literally deserves so much more hype. I will gladly read more by this author in the future, because literally they are so talented. Anyway, overall, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I would highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called A Bit of Earth. This story is a middle-grade contemporary retelling of The Secret Garden with a South Asian main character, and I really, really enjoyed it. I had really high expectations for the story because I talked about it in my March TBR, and I'm so excited that it lived up to those high expectations. First of all, the world building was so magical and absolutely so atmospheric and so vivid. Literally, I was so riveted by the story all the way through. The plot was so intriguing and so engaging. The characters were so well developed and so distinct. I love the family dynamics so much. I love grumpy sunshine friendship dynamics too. Literally, this book is so amazing and so well done. And I really, really enjoyed it. It was so good and so well developed in literally every single element. This book deserves so much more hype because it's absolutely so well done. I love the South Asian culture. Literally, this book is so amazing and so well done. So anyway, overall, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I would highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Ravensong. This story is a YA urban fantasy inspired by Irish mythology, following a young sapphic demigod who accidentally falls in love with a human. I enjoyed this book and I liked it, but I definitely didn't love it, so I rated it 3 out of 5 stars. The world building was interesting and it definitely made sense, which I really appreciated because I hate it when I'm reading a fantasy and the world building is too complicated or too dense for me to understand, you know what I mean? The plot was very intriguing and very engaging. I enjoyed the sister dynamic as well as the characters. It's just that for me, this story was more romance driven than I was expecting, which is completely my fault and my bad because I should have refreshed my memory on what the synopsis was before I started it, and then started with much lower expectations, if that makes any sense. But anyway, overall, I definitely understand the hype. I just don't fully agree with it, if that makes any sense. The romance, it was cute and it was well developed and definitely very well paced. I'm just not quite sure if I want to read the sequel. So anyway, overall, I rated this story 3 out of 5 stars, so take that as you will. The last book on this list, and certainly not the least, is called The Memory Eater. This story is a YA paranormal urban fantasy following a young bisexual main character who is trying to save her town from a memory-devouring monster. This story is absolutely so excellent, and it was so intriguing. The world building was so magical and so atmospheric, and I really, really enjoyed it. I love it when a plot's mystery is focused on a town's history or a certain family's history, similarly to Spells for Forgetting and We Deserve Monuments, you know what I mean? The story was so well done and so awesome and so captivating. The plot was so intriguing and so engaging. The characters were so well developed and so distinct. The friendships as well as the family dynamics felt so authentic and so well done. The sapphic romance was so wonderful and so lovely. Literally, this book is so good and it deserves so much more hype because it's so underrated, and I just really, really enjoyed it. So anyway, overall, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I really, really enjoyed it. And now I want to read the author's debut. So anyway, all that to say, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. So in conclusion, since I talked about last week how March has been such a great, successful reading month, I feel like I don't need to repeat that again, especially with how many books I talked about in this video. So let me just say that spring break has been glorious to me, although you are watching this the week after spring break. But anyway, the point is, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the cow emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching, subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!